You know, sometimes I come back here to chat with you guys about gear and it decides to start snowing on me. So hopefully it doesn't get any worse, because wowzers, do I have some pocket knives to discuss with you guys today. If you are a food prep king, if you are a backyard barbecue master, if you are a Michelin 5-star chef and you're looking to EDC a pocket knife that has that vein, a chef knife, just lines, profile, well, then these Kizer Momo full size and mini, I think it would be very hard to find another knife that literally is kind of taking cues from that. That's literally what the design and the designer was intending for it to do, is to have cutting lines like a chef knife and have the ergonomics to kind of back that up. And you can totally see that with the no guard ricassos on both of these blades. Now, you can see the profile is basically sweep the entire line. And I love that Kizer has decided to make not only a full size at 4.2 inches overall blade length for this one, and then 3.2 on the mini. Excellent. So many pocket knife companies lately are honing in on like this 3 or sub 3 inch cutting edge, and it drives me bananas. So to get a large blade and then a slightly smaller blade in this same kind of profile really connects with me. And the geometry is bananas, with basically a flat grind all the way up, almost a full flat. Like, it's almost a full flat. You get huge tip geometry for such a cutting, velocitizing angle, I guess. With that, both are going to be sporting 1/8 of an inch thick stocks, which is exactly what you want. Going to precision pinnacle pencil tip angles on that tip. So this is for precision, not for prying. Do not be treating these blades like screwdrivers, but they are going to absolutely go through just your general utility if you just like the profile in general, because with these profiles harken to the frontier blades of the 17th and 18th centuries. And so that is going to provide a massive level of capability and doing exactly what a knife is intended to do: cut and slice, not be a crowbar. So that is the intended purpose. That is what the designs bring to the table in that regard. Now, they're going to be sporting, there's so many variants of not only handle color combinations, but blade steels. The two that I have here is the full size sporting Nitro V, and then the mini sporting 154 CM. What's really curious is that they've decided to go up higher on the HRC based off of Kizer's website on the Nitro V. I believe it's 60 to 61, and then they're doing, man, let me double check here. I had the notes. Yeah, 58 to 59 on the 154 CM. Yeah, and 6061 on the Nitro V. So that's kind of interesting. And obviously, with that type of HRC, and Nitro V and 154 CM are so close anyway, but I would argue, and from my personal experience, this seems to be having a little bit better wear resistance on the Nitro V than on the 154 CM. So leave a comment below what your preference in those type of steels would be. They're both going to be excellent for stain resistance, rust resistance, and they both are able to take an edge without much difficulty and hold a good edge for that type of steel. They're not going to be like M390, you know, or 20 CV, but how many of us actually need that unless you are literally that Michelin star, you know, chef, maybe. Then maybe you need better edge retention than that. But and there are many other variants. There's S35VN, they got D2, they got Sandvik 14C28N, and I think a few other models and variants out there that you can always explore. So that's the blade. The blades themselves are bonkers for the chefing of all of your EDC tasks. Now, in just a moment, we're going to look at these deployment methods, different handle ergonomics. Do those check the box? Because a blade can do amazing cutting and amazing performance, but if it sucks in the hand, if it's not fun to deploy or carry, then doesn't matter how good a chef you are, you're not gonna carry these blades. But before we do that, it's a YouTube video, so I'm gonna invite you to like, subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos just like this. And as it appears the snow might be coming in even a little bit heavier, it's a perfect opportunity to tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Huckberry and their exclusive, extra tough, waterproof deck boots. I've been familiar with Extra Tough for quite a while, but just never pulled the trigger, and man, do I regret it, because as we enter mud season with slop and mess, as you know, the snow melts, the rains come in, having a 100% waterproof boot is essential. And regardless if I've been outdoors doing stuff, you know, testing out gear and equipment, using this in the slush and the muck, I was blown away, especially with the Chevron non-slip sole. That sole is so grippy on ice. I mean, it makes sense that these are loved in Alaska when it comes to working on ships and working around docks and on deck. I mean, the name, you know, is right there for it. But I have been using it extensively when I come back here right after a snow. So if you've been on the fence about Extra Tough, I cannot say enough good things. These things are epic, and Huckberry is an excellent place to get yourself a pair, regardless if it's the original deck boots, but they also have a few other models as well, along with that exclusive Huckberry pattern. And so I'll have a link popping up here as well as in the description box below over to the Huckberry website, so you can start exploring all the different Extra Tough designs, features, as well as so many other quality apparel and gear items that Huckberry carries, so that you can stay warm and dry as the seasons change. Now, what about these little protruding horns or front flippers? I remember back in the day, maybe one company ever did anything like this, and now it's become quite popular. I have really grown to enjoy the deployment. It makes it super easy to deploy. If you've never owned one, literally all you have to do, and it has a nice little hit of jimping that's not super aggressive, but you literally just put your thumb right there, and you can either slowly deploy and click, or with just a little, barely even any wrist action. Now, it's not gonna be a deployment that's like super tactical, you know, that you can be like, I mean, you have to kind of hold the blade like this and then, you know, rotate to grip, but not a big deal. The detent is decent, but you can easily flick the full size open. Let's see if we can do it on the Mini. The Mini you cannot. I think it's just the literally size and weight of the full size. Again, so nice to have that type of blade. Some people are going to totally dig it. Some of you are going to hate it because there's no other real way to open it. I mean, you can put your fingers and kind of do like a friction flick like that. The Mini is definitely, in my opinion, not going to cause any like pocket pain when you're carrying it in your pocket. I have not experienced it on the full size, but at 5 and like 0.2 inches overall when closed, including that little bird beak, whatever you want to call it, the flipper, I could see, you know, maybe some of you that are just smaller in size. You know, I'm kind of a big guy, 6'2", and, you know, wear like 34s. Not a problem in my front pocket, but maybe for some of you, I could see the full size digging in if you're a smaller individual, but the Mini I don't think is going to have any sort of problem with that. Leave a comment below if you like front flippers, especially with these extra protruders, which make them very easy to deploy, or is that just not really your jam? Now, we have ball bearings, totally what you'd expect on most, you know, overseas Chinese-made designs, and they function and are ultra smooth. We have a little bit of play on both, just a hair, side to side, and actually none up and down. None up and down on the liner lock. So very simple, classic design. You're gonna get a little cut in right there next to the liner lock to be able to disengage the lock. Barehanded, you know, just going to the office, gentleman folder, or around the kitchen. And if you're wearing like latex gloves, things like that, or not latex, nitro, whatever, you know what I mean. Then food prep gloves. Then you should be able to engage these without any issue. But that is something just to kind of be aware of. And I do like that they made the necks for potentially long, you know, cuts, not be off center or anything, and flush which is really nice to see. Now, as we flow into the handle ergonomics themselves, I will hit these pocket clips, which are delicious and nutritious. They're gonna fill you up, high protein, steak level pocket clips. Kizer has done an excellent job. Depending on the pattern you get, we'll get either a blackout or satin. Now that they are not ambi, so that's a downer for you lefties. Sorry about that. Maybe they'll have a left-handed version eventually, but they're going for streamlined excellence and leaving 10% of the population out in the cold. So there you go. Now, what's really cool is there are probably half a dozen at least variants of blade steel and handle material on both of these. So you can really kind of pick a pattern that you like. I love the two-tone micarta. Two-tone micarta, and then this one is two-tone micarta and aluminum bolster, but they have all kinds of different variants and options that are available with that. I would say it's a little clothy too. I really enjoy the clothiness of those handles, and they have many other different variants as well. Screwed in, you're going to get flow-through construction, so easy to clean, you know, if you did get gunk and food in there. And they are going to be skeletonized because the full size is under 5 ounces, like 4.6 ounces, and then the mini is going to be like just over 3 ounces. So really light for their sizes, which I really appreciate as well. And when we look at the actual grip points on the full size, we're talking about 5 inches of usable space, because you have this ricasso that kind of flows right into the blade right there, so you can really choke up. And look at how much real estate is on the back. Large size hands, knuckle span of 3¼ inches from knuckle to knuckle across my hand right there. So 5 inches of usable on the full size and 4 inches of usable space on the mini. So again, plenty of real estate out the back there. Not even gonna get, and I still have just a little bit before I actually even hit the ricasso. They have kind of, it's not hair popping sharp right there, so I have not yet nicked myself, and I have other blades similar in design to these that I've definitely nicked myself. Great recessed tips into the handle as well. Don't mind the frickin' planes flying over. There you go, right there on both. And then you have that jimp that basically is flush with the scale, so you get just a little bit of something you feel if you put pressure, but it's not sharp. I love it. That's what you want. If I'm gonna have jimp, that's the type of jimp I want. And then just the super organic sweep right there. I mean, it feels fantastic in the hand. Zero issues, nice little shoulders, all that. And so you may be like, okay, bro, well, what's this gonna cost? And I do appreciate Kizer sending these models to me. I requested them. They have not paid, sponsored for anything in the video whatsoever. All I have is our affiliate links popping up in the description box below and here. So to like Blade HQ is probably the best place, Amazon, and then you can obviously just go to the Kizer website. You'll be stunned. $75 for this model right here. Full size in Nitro V, $75. $75, bro. And the mini with 154 cm is actually slightly more at like 78. But again, if you go with like a budget, the D2 and the Sandvik versions are cheaper than that, from what I have seen, like all the way down to like $60, which is wild. And then you can spend like over 200 if you go with some of the premium models, and I think they have some titanium bolsters and things like that. So if you like the idea, you could get a budget one, test it out, you like it, get the Primo version after that, or get, you know, one of each, and, you know, fit the different needs that you may have in different scenarios. But at that price, guys, that is bananas. And I can't, aside from just like these points that some people may not like, may cause ergonomic problems in the pocket, or you just don't like that type of deployment, or if you're a lefty, I can't find an issue with these blades. They have really been fun to play with. I was excited to get out here. I was willing to, you know, face the snow to do this video, and just highlight what the capabilities, potential limitations, depending on who you are. And I mean, micarta will absorb crap. I didn't touch on that. You know, a micarta can absorb moisture and food and smells. So maybe, you know, I believe they have some versions that do not have micarta. Double check that, but I'm like 90% sure of that. So if you are going to be using this around the kitchen a lot, maybe don't go with micarta. Food for thought, leave comments below. The only other really competitive option that I thought of just off the top of my head that kind of works like this one is going to be the pro versions of the Buck 110 or 112, depending on what you want. Very similar kind of idea, right? Like the two-tone, and we got the micarta. S30V, you know, they do an excellent heat treat, the Boss heat treat. These are going to be also not ambi, not as fast, not as fun, but because they have thumb studs and pocket clips now, a lot more carryable excellent blade geometry, USA made, you know, Chinese made. So that is a good variant. You know, if you're like, man, I really like that two-tone, don't forget about these bucks. These bucks, pretty sick sauce to throw in your pocket as well. But appreciate you guys, especially if you own the Momo. Leave a comment below. How has it been performing for you? Do you like it? Do you not? Always appreciate your feedback. Check out the other videos. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.